Hello everyone, my name is Jeremiah and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about my current network setup and what I plan on doing eventually with this entire network setup. This right here is my very scattered and very messy network. I currently have my 3-com still. I have this old Dell Power Connect 6248 and a TrendNet. Don't know the specific model. I like TrendNet though. They're good for house and standard stuff. They're good for management. Then I have my Proxmox cluster and a heap of wires that I need to fix. Anyway, basically this is my entire network. Also, I have a Cisco 1921 router. Very old, but it still is gigabit connection. I just need to figure out how to maybe either update the firmware or I need to get a, well, no, actually I'm just going to make sure the SSH is off, because I can access everything via the terminal, like via console right here, which I have set up on Proxmox. Anyway, still have my Lenovo M83 down here as well, but, you know, still in the bigger case. So, from the last video, nothing has fundamentally changed, but I am going to be changing a lot of stuff. So, essentially, what I'm currently doing right now is I'm currently in the process of migrating everything off of this network, which is my current house network, which is 10.41.0.1, or etc, etc. And I'm going to be moving it up onto this, because this is actually using VLANs, and with this as well. So basically, I have this now officially set up and working with VLANing, and now my issue wasn't really this, wasn't working with VLANing, it was this, my router wasn't actually accepting the VLAN trunk port on here, or vice versa. I did figure it out. I had to apparently enable VTP transparent. There we go. Sorry, I'm trying to think here. And also, I was having an issue with my VLANs weren't communicating with the general port, or you can say a semi-trunk port here. And what that basically means is, even though my VLANs are, even though my virtual machines, my VMs, are using the proper IP addresses, they weren't actually connecting to the right VLANs. But I did also figure that out as well, so now everything is working fine. Now, you might think, okay, so why did you do all this? Well, two reasons. Reason one is because I want to get this back. And this is a gigabit networking switch. Small, but still good. I want to put it on here. I also want to make sure I have more ports for this network, because this is called my heartbeat network. This is what is used to communicate. This is what's used for my Proxmox servers and my TrueNAS server to communicate with one another and transfer data such as virtual machines back and forth to each other. So that's what this is. This is my communication network for basically my internal servers, and my VMs obviously are coming in through these wires that are on the motherboards, and they will be up in the front. I think I have it to where these will eventually be going into, like, you know, these ports over here. Like, basically, it's like 6 ports. It's not a lot, but obviously I don't need a lot, and I can always expand on that later if I need to. But anyhow, the reason why I actually did set this up was because I need to be able to logically separate all of my servers. Whether it is, you know, more secure or not, that's debatable. But I wanted to be able to logically separate my internal servers from the external servers, and I also wanted to logically separate my back-end network from, you know, everything else. And I also wanted to be able to do a little bit better, let's say, port forwarding with this device right here. The only issue I'm having with this device is the fact that when I try to SSH into, let's say, a server that's on this network right here, the NAT, it seems to actually drop the connection after so much idling. So that only happens in SSH. I need to figure out how to extend that, and I need to also see if it's just happening in SSH or if it's going to happen in other games as well. Now, you might be thinking, wait, how do you have a Proxmox on this top switch, but also connected to the rest of the cluster? It's because this one is connected to this backend network still, so it still has communication with the other servers and can still transfer virtual machines between each other. It's just I can't control this Proxmox server from the 10.41.0.1 network. I have to actually use the 10.32.10.1 network, which is my newer VLAN network. So anyhow, basically, eventually I need to start changing all of the IP addresses for all of my virtual machines, and once I get that done, then I need to now map them out on here, which isn't that hard. It's just more of a time-consuming thing. But I plan on actually doing a lot of this and a lot of unplugging about on the 13th, and I might even attempt to make a simple video on it, basically discussing my current plans, go further in depth. But overall, I just kind of wanted to show you that I'm currently migrating everything over onto a more, you could say, complex network, but it's also a more efficient network because now everything is logically separated. So now I can easily identify whether the server I'm connecting to is an internal or external server, or if it's a heartbeat network, NIC, or what. Pardon me. Sorry. Anyway, basically, yeah, I'm having coffee. I have a coffee addiction. You can ignore that. I'm gonna put that there. Anyhow, basically, another reason why I wanted to also have this set up is also because if I get a better Cisco router, I can just copy the config off of this and paste it basically into the other device, and it should basically take this configuration and, do as it needs with it. So then I'll have a better device, but I won't actually have to redo my entire configuration, which was kind of a pain in the rear to do, So, and don't worry, I have saved my configs on here and on that switch, so if things go off, we're fine. Anyhow, but one of the bigger reasons why was because once I eventually do move houses, I want to be able to take all of this with me. And what I mean by that is I want to be able to pick all of this up and move it to the new house and plug it in, and it should just work. Of course, there are some things I'll have to do. Once I get it properly set up, and let's say if I did move houses, I would obviously shut those off first, shut off all the servers, then shut off the networking devices after I make sure everything's saved in the configuration files. Then I take these with me, plug in the router first, get it configured with the new internet port, or with the new WAN. Then once it's up and running and connected to the internet, with my current setup here, I would actually go and I would connect now my switch up, make sure it's up and running. Then I would start plugging in my wires into my servers, then eventually turn on the NAS, which is the file server here. Then I would turn on the Proxmox nodes. And it's not complex enough that I have to copy and document where every single wire is. I have everything based on relative. And what I mean by that is basically, like, ports 1 through, let's say, 8 are for Proxmox and internal servers and such. Then, let's say, ports, 9 through 15 or something are going to actually be for my back-end network right here. I can't zoom in. There we go. And so on and so forth. So, yeah, I want to be able to pick this network up and move it over to the new location like that, and be able to plug it in, and it should just work apart from the IP address on this network, or on this device. The WAN IP address will be different. But, of course, you can easily change that. But overall, in comparison to having to redo the entire thing and have to rebuild everything, I prefer just having to change one IP address on here. And that's obviously external. If I need to, I can always turn on DHCP for my external WAN. Preferably, I would not want to do that, though. That's why I plan on actually getting some kind of business internet or some sort. So, anyway, yeah, this was a very bad explanation of how my network is. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and actually comment down below, and yeah. If you want to see a video on how I'm actually going to, finish up the setup, then also put that in the comments, because I might actually do a screen capture of that, because I obviously am not sharing my external IP address through that process, if you know what I mean. So, basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be migrating those two devices up there, eventually onto this network switch, right? Then eventually we're going to shut off all the virtual machines up there, well, on all the nodes, because that's where the VMs are stored. It is on here. So basically, I'm going to be shutting that off up there, shutting all those off. Then I'm going to be moving those networks, those networking devices, virtual or physical, over onto this switch right here. Then I'm going to migrate these NICs, or basically change these networking interfaces off onto their own VLAN as well, yada yada, so on and so forth. It's just a bunch of different stuff that obviously you guys probably don't care about, unless if you really, really, really want to see how I'm doing this. And if you do, I can make a packet tracer topology, although yes, I'm using a Dell switch. Fundamentally, it's going to be the exact same concept. So, there's that. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. I might even add in that next video me redoing all the wiring for this network. Good God.